Welcome back to Scarlet Knights of the Round Table, an original Rutgers talk show. And I'm your host, Devin Davis. We have a very, very exciting program for you lined up today. We're shining the spotlight on Rutgers bands, hearing directly from members and about their experiences within the band. I'm currently in my third year here with the band. I'm one of the drum majors and play the clarinet in the band. So this conversation hits very close to home to me. And I'm excited to jump in. But first, who's ready for the joke of the day? What kind of band never plays music? A rubber band! So now that we're all warmed up, please welcome our first guest of the Rutgers band, Jackson Rice. Welcome to the show.
Great to be here.
I'm glad that you are here. So, Jackson, tell me, I know you pretty well, but I also know that you're pretty multi-talented. You're in the Rutgers drumline and the marching band. You also play tuba in the concert band. So I want to know, how do you compare these two things between, drumline and playing the tuba?
So for marching band rehearsals, drumline is pretty intense. I have to stay locked in and really focus on how my hands are playing, and I can feel the weight on my shoulders of the drums. Versus in concert band, I play a wind instrument, I play tuba, and I have to focus more on how I'm controlling my breathing and how I'm focusing on what the band director is doing.
Interesting. So let's talk about marching band for a second. If I'm not mistaken, you told me privately that you've been doing marching band just about maybe 9 or 10 years. That's a very, very long time. So what can you tell us in the moment, in the tunnel at SHI Stadium? What's going through your mind?
So when I'm standing in the tunnel pregame, I'm thinking about how I have taken such a long time to memorize my music, and how I've practiced all of these charts in my head and on my practice pad at home. And I'm getting ready to make this pregame show the best that I will ever do.
I can attest to that. See, when I do pregame, it's so much different from being on the cymbal line to being on the drum major. My heart is pounding ever so faster, but you know what? It's good fun. I personally love pregame in the band. So when I think about, my time in the MSK, I reflect on that. So I want to ask you, what do you reflect on? Being in the band, coming up on your third season, what can you reflect on over the past, 2 seasons you've been with the Rutgers bands?
So I think about my progress in drumming. I went from cymbals to quads, and that's a pretty large leap in the marching band world. I went from hitting 2 big plates together to playing complicated rhythms on drums. So I think about how my skill has progressed over just 2 short years, and how the dedication that I have been able to extend towards this band really affects my playing.
Very nice, very nice. And so finally, we've heard about marching bands here. The concert band is totally much different atmosphere. You're not on a 50-yard line, wailing away on a tuba. But, what is the overall, rehearsal like? We are, you and I both know what the rehearsal looks like for marching band, but what is the overall atmosphere and rehearsal like for a concert band?
So comparatively to marching band, concert band rehearsals are a little bit more laid back. You arrive and you're wearing what's comfortable to sit and play your instrument in. And, for me, I unpack my instrument and I attach the mouthpiece, and then I go sit on stage, usually about 5 to 10 minutes before practice starts, and I warm up. And, I do my warm-up routine, which is a couple scales on the tuba. And then I make sure I take a look at the schedule and arrange my music in order for the schedule that has been provided on the Canvas page for the class.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Jackson. It's been great. We have a video of you showing us some tuba basics of what you go through, I guess, in a concert band setting. So, friends, why don't we take a look at that?
For many musicians, learning an instrument starts with lessons. But for Jackson, it started with a broken tuba and curiosity.
I first learned how to play tuba in high school. I repaired an old broken tuba that I found in my high school's band room. And I loosely learned how to play a couple of DCI features that I liked. If you really want to learn tuba, the first thing that you should do is take the mouthpiece off and learn how to change pitches with buzzing like this.
This technique is called an embouchure, which is the way a player uses their lips to create sound through the mouthpiece.
You put your lips up to the mouthpiece, and you do that buzzing noise that I talked about like this. And just without any valves, nothing at all, you could change octave pitches like this.
Most tubas have 3 to 4 valves, which are used to alter the instrument's pitch.
So there's only 3 valves on this tuba. Usually there are 4, but It is functional on this tuba. When you press different combinations of valves, the way that the air travels through the instrument changes, and the pitch of your instrument changes with it, such as this.
What an exciting video. Thank you for teaching us, Jackson. When we come back for our break, we'll be interviewing Matt Shamming from the baritone saxophone section. With over 5 years of marching experience, please welcome to the show marching band member Matt Shamming.
Hello, hello, hello.
Welcome to the show, Matt. Glad to have you here with me.
Glad to be here.
Question for you. You have played a very, very pivotal role creating the baritone saxophone section, the first of its kind in the Rutgers Marching Band. And you just completed your first, full year with the section. You've already been here with us for 2. So can you walk us through, when you first got here to the Rutgers Band? Take us through, the talks that you had with the directors and, seeing if there was a section or if there wasn't a section, things of that nature.
Yeah, right. When I was first trying to join the marching band, right, I had already had some experience with the bari sax. I marched in high school and I had been playing it for a little while. And so I just told that directly to Dr. Nichols. I didn't see it as an option when I was trying to register, and I asked him directly, was I able to play this? He just said that I had to buy my own, and that's exactly what I did. I bought my own. I came to the first rehearsal and learned that there was not a section. I was the only person playing it. Yeah, and I mean, since then I just kind of owned it, and I took it as a challenge to myself, really. Yeah, by the end of the year, I got a lot of people interested in wanting to switch, and now there's a section of 10 of us. So it's pretty incredible.
The largest and fastest growing section within the marching band. So what made you choose saxophone, especially bari sax? You could have chosen the clarinet, which is my instrument, personally speaking. But is there something about, those, 2 instruments? Because regular saxophone is much different from bari saxophone, of course. But what chose you to go into saxophone land?
Yeah, my brother was really into it when we were in elementary school together. So that's kind of what initially drove me. And aside from that, I was also really interested in jazz music and that kind of saxophone culture already. So it was a pretty obvious decision when I was choosing an instrument back then. Since then, I kind of geared more towards bari sax and tenor sax because I really like bass lines. I mean, the groove, it's the structure of the song. It's the best part of it by far.
That's right. Yeah. So one final question, if you could describe the baritone saxophone section, with 3 adjectives or even, a sentence or 2, what would you pick or what would you say?
Well, like I said before, this was a very new change and a lot of people just came in. So I want to say that they were very determined and very willing to follow what I had started. The full section was, a lot of them are trying an instrument for the first time. They're doing something new that they've never done before. And what was even better is that all of them had experience already marching, and especially marching with the saxophone. Marching to them was not new, but the bari sax section of it, or part of it, was new. And I thought that was something that I could really hone, and that's something that I know that I can help them improve on.
Well, personally speaking, you did a fantastic job. And that's coming from the drum major standpoint, a musicianship standpoint, a leadership standpoint. Not many people, could just be the one, multiply it to 10. That's a big step. But you did it. And I applaud you for it. I'm sure the directors thank you for that too. And with that, Matt, I thank you for being on the show here today. So why don't we got a little video, some behind the scenes of the bari sax. So why don't we check that out?
For beginners, learning a wind instrument starts with producing sound through the mouthpiece.
You should start with the mouthpiece off and play it.
And once you can kind of get some kind of vibration on that, then you can put it on and start trying to play some notes.
Each instrument has a unique embouchure.
The embouchure is how you're positioning your mouth when you're playing. So for saxophone and bari sax specifically, you want to stay very open with the jaw very dropped. Do, kind of that very low singing sound. You can position your mouth with teeth on the top of the mouthpiece and your bottom lip touching the reed. And keeping the reed wet, you can try to blow through some air with a very tight, low embouchure.
Once a player can produce a consistent sound, they can begin changing pitch using the instrument's keys.
Once you can get out that sound, the keys are how you're going to change your pitch. You can use different combinations of keys to play different scales, different songs. That's the way that you are really getting different notes out of your instrument.
The bari sax stands out as the most common low saxophone.
In a band, you're usually going to see alto, tenor, soprano sometimes, and then the bari sax is your very low voice saxophone.
That was amazing, Matt. Very, very nicely done. Next up, in addition to our show around our round table, we got a game show. Our guests will be bringing out their instruments along with mine own, and we'll be able to play a little game called Guess That Song. Stay tuned after this break. Welcome to Guess the Song. In this game, we'll be taking turns playing a short song, while the other two members have to guess the name of that song. The first person to guess wins, but if you guess wrong, you can't make another guess until that other person goes. So you know what, let's begin. I'll start on the clarinet.
I know it. More than a feeling?
What?
More than a feeling, maybe?
Yeah.
Something about a feeling? Yeah.
Oh, Hooked on a Feeling.
Hooked on a feeling.
That's it.
Next up is Jackson on the tuba. Happy birthday!
Yes, correct.
And finally, Matt Shamming on the baritone saxophone. Neck. Talking out the side of your neck. Fantastic song. Well, I think that about does it for Guess the Song here. That was a lot of fun, I'd say so. It really tested my musical knowledge. We'll be right back after this break. Well, that does it for us here today for today's episode of the Scarlet Knights of the Round Table. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you, Jackson and Matt, for being fantastic guests here on the show with me and taking a look inside to the passion of music. This has been Devin Davis, your fantastic host, and we'll see you on the next episode of The Round Table.